Good morning and welcome back to my channel. Today I am talking a little bit more about my twill progress and what I experimented with. Whereas tabby has a pattern of one up, one down, like we talked about previously, twill varies what goes over and under in a distinctly diagonal pattern. So today I'm talking about 3 particular types of twill and then some extra patterns built off of those. The 3 twills used on a 4-shaft loom are 2-2, 1-3, and 3-1. The names directly correspond to how many warp threads go up and how many go down. It's a little harder to see with my 2-color warp. Really, a 1-color warp highlights twill a little easier. But here I'm weaving a 2-2, which means I constantly have 2 warp threads up and 2 down. So my tie-up, which is how my treadles connect to my shafts, which hold my heddles, my tie-up is shafts 1 and 2 on treadle 1, 2 and 3 on treadle 2, 3 and 4 on 3, and 1 and 4 on 4. This means when I raise shafts 1 and 2, the 3 and 4 are naturally down, creating my shed. When I do this in one direction, I create a one-directional diagonal, but I can change directions or even skip around, which is where variation can enter the pattern. For example, here I was going across my treadles consistently from left to right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm going to switch to right to left, or 4, 3, 2, 1. Then I'll just play around with whatever mixture to create some willy-nilly zigzagging. Adding in some color variety, for this pattern I did a basic 2-2 going all in one direction, 1, 2, 3, using green weft, but for my 4th weft thread I used the same white as the warp. To be honest, I did not think that this last pattern was going to turn out that pretty, because again the 2-color warp kind of messes with traditional patterning for twill, but I actually really like that. I think that that is really quite lovely. And then here's the rest of the 2-2 twill. So we've got our straightforward kind of diagonals here, and then this is where I changed it up, and I kind of just zigzagged at various intervals based on what I was feeling. Next up is 1-3 twill, but I am going to wait on that because Max just woke up. So we'll do that first. So here is a basic 1-3 twill with 1 warp thread up and 3 down. My tie-up is shaft 1 on treadle 1, 2 on 2, 3 on 3, and 4 on 4. So each treadle lifts only 1 shaft at a time. This is similar to the 2-2 in that it creates a diagonal, but with only 1 warp thread up, the weft plays more heavily in the pattern. You can see this section has more green than any orange or white. With this, I can do the same as the 2-2 and create a diagonal in the other direction by simply changing the direction in which I use the treadles. This second pattern changes the order again. Rather than using the treadles in numerical order, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 4, 3, 2, 1, I am doing 2, 3, 4, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1. I got this pattern idea from my book Handweaver's Pattern Directory by Ann Dixon. This pattern creates zigzags with a little variation, and a little harder to tell on the 2-color warp. Next up is 3-1 twill, which, like I said, is just the reverse of 1-3. So treadle 1 has shafts 1, 2, 3, treadle 2 has 2, 3, 4, 3 has 3, 4, 1, and 4 has 4, 1, 2. This highlights the warp rather than the weft. It's so similar that I decided not to spend too much time on it, so I'm just kind of moving on from here. For the mixed twills, I decided to try two. My first was a combination of 2-2, 1-3, and 3-1. Between the two-color warp and my high tension, I don't like how this one turned out. The next one is almost more of a hop sack visually. It uses only 2 treadles. The first has only my first shaft, and the second has shafts 2, 3, 4. I finished out with a mix between tabby and 1-3 twill. I used green and white for my weft, which created distinctive stripes. I thought this was really lovely and also really easy to get into a rhythm for, so this is a pattern I'm definitely noting for the future. After using this pattern, I decided to try only using my orange and white warp colors in the weft to see if I could further emphasize the stripes and bring out a different pattern. This was fun, and again something I was pleasantly surprised by. And that's the end. Next video, I'm going to touch on hopsack, double cloth, and maybe even work my way into hand manipulation, depending on timing. I look forward to seeing you all then.